I'm Bill McWilliam, president of Cascadero Copper, CCD on the TSX Venture Exchange. Cesium is one of the world's rarest metals with a growing industrial demand. Drilling is underway on our Tehran property in Argentina to prove up a cesium resource. Cascadero's patent-pending leach process has the potential to make Cascadero the lowest cost supplier of cesium in the world. Visit our website, cascadero.com, or phone us at 604-924-5504.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Michael Easton. He's probably best known for being the owner of Puget Sound Radio. However, you have a new venture to tell us about, the Easton Spectator, Connecting the Dots. What can you tell us about it?
Well, where do I begin? First off, thank you as our mutual friend Michael Rivera says, thanks for having me. Ditto on that. Good to talk with you. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing great.
Great. Easton Spectator. What's it all about? Well, actually, it's been something has been in the works for a couple of years. I've had Puget Sound Radio now since 2006, and since then I've always included the other stories that are not at all related to broadcasting, but first off was about the geoengineering in the sky, also about GMOs and about vaccines. And anyhow, I was asked a few years ago, perhaps I should put this on another platform, and so that's why I say it's been in the works. And now it is on another platform, and that platform is Easton Spectator, Connecting the Dots.
Why did you start Easton Spectator?
Because I wanted to get into the stories that I believe are not being presented in corporate media, mainstream media, stories that are totally ignored. We're getting stories that are a lot are manufactured. We're hearing a lot about fake news, and we certainly saw a lot of fake news during the last U.S. presidential race, and we continue to see a lot of fake news, and the proof in the pudding is a lot of it has come from CNN. But not just CNN. One thing I noticed, and I want to reflect back to before, was probably shortly after Donald Trump announced that he was going to run for president. I guess that was in June of 2015. And I was never a Donald Trump fan. I want you to realize that. In fact, I considered myself a libertarian. My support was with Rand Paul. And my support before Rand Paul was with his dad, Ron Paul, who ran in 2012. But, I'm a realist. I realize that, the chances of Rand Paul winning are slim to nothing. And when he suspended his campaign, I then focused in on, first I looked at Rubio for a while, and I thought, and then I realized, no, there's no way. Then I was looking at Ted Cruz, and there was a lot of things I really liked about Ted Cruz, but, what happened was the skirts seemed to be lifted, and then you could see what was behind Ted Cruz, and I thought, no, and then, one of the strangest things that I noticed in December, not of last year, but of the year before, in listening to a radio station in Vancouver I always listened to, was CKNW. And it was for the entire month of December. John McComb was doing a spot which was running several times an hour, I think, and it was running the Donald Trump was talking about Muslims, and the statement was that they were clipping him. What he said is, he said, that we're not going to have Muslims or let Muslims into the United States, and they clipped him. They left out the part that until we can figure out what's going on, and in other words, see who these people are, vet them. Well, I'm thinking, well, why is NW doing that? So it was kind of my awakening as to how corporate media has become so localized with radio stations such as CKNW. I'd even sent a message to John McComb asking him about it, and, he responded. It was almost like he was turning it back on me and saying, well, he didn't know what I was talking about, and the fact that he had been away on vacation, and to contact his producer. And it was just, at that time I recognized where CKNW was going, whether that's under the influence of the now PD, who's an American, a Democrat. I believe it, because the thing is, listening to all the hosts on the radio station, even our longtime friend Sterling Fox, everything is so negative and attacking Donald Trump all the time. It's like, give me a break. It's like media wants to control us. And in fact, it was that Micah Brzezinski on MSNBC. There's a YouTube clip, and she says, our job is to control exactly what people think. And I thought, holy macro, that's right, that's exactly what's going on. And then I see this banner, I think it was on Facebook yesterday, with Peter Mansbridge on the news set, saying it's 6 o'clock, and here's what we want you to think. Well, that's pretty scary stuff, and I think that's and an accumulation of things that we're never told about. It's all covered up. Geoengineering, specifically. I mean, you've got to either be blind or an idiot not to see these streaks in the sky, which never dissipate like the ordinary condensation trails used to. These are chemtrails and spread out. But no, media ignores that. We have more than enough proof and evidence that this is a reality, and it's very much happening in all NATO nations around the world. We look at GMOs. Okay, this is Monsanto at work, even in this country, that they're using. Farmers are now, they've been enticed to, they've been through financing from Monsanto to use Roundup on their crops. Well, Roundup has glyphosate in it. That's like rat poison. And I mean, they're not just putting it in the fields, but when the crops come up, like the corn comes up, it's got this chemical in it. What happens to the corn? It goes to market. Nobody tests this at all. I even challenged a local store here in Oceanside. I questioned them about the corn coming from the field nearby in Arrington, and you're selling it. I said, does anybody test it? I said, not only that, what corn is left is fed to the cows. The cows eat it. Does anybody test the milk? And you know what his response to me was? Well, no, it's entirely up to Health Canada. Well, He said, my issue is with Health Canada, not him, so go away and don't bother us anymore. How bizarre.
We'll have more with Michael Easton right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
I'm Larry Ray, President and CEO of American Manganese, Inc., listed on the TSX Venture, ticker symbol AMY, A-M-Y, with proprietary patents in the U.S., China, and South Africa. Our focus is on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. China recently legislated the responsibility for recycling onto their electric vehicle manufacturers and importers. For more information, please visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
In Goddard we trust.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Michael Easton. Michael, what can people expect to see when they go to eastonspectator.com?
Well, first off, you're going to read about John Podesta, who not only received $25 million from Russia, but he also owns stock in a Russian company. It shows that this made-up fake news trying to tie Donald Trump into Russia is just that, fake news. And the fact is that, the Clinton Foundation has prospered mightily over this. The corruption is so steep. That's what I want to show on Easton Spectator. The corruption in what's going on in other areas in California. That's another story we have about charges. The California state is charging undercover reporters who are exposing Planned Parenthood's baby parts. We're not seeing this kind of news on mainstream media. We don't see news like George Soros backs Pierre Trudeau, chip off the old block there, and more, both globalists, by the way. George Soros backs Trudeau. What about the story about Hillary Clinton, who covered up the pedophile ring at the State Department? What about Richard Branson's and his phony Virgin Galactic space business? Fluoride. It's a great deception. What's going on at Fukushima that mainstream and local media don't tell you? Did they tell you that the radiation is at the highest level since 2011? It's a meltdown, folks. Have you heard lately on the news or any reports about the millions of dead fish showing up in Alaska and along the West Coast shores? No. You're not going to hear it either. That's the kind of news that I'm proudly presenting. It's all documented. Nothing is fake. You can watch videos on the Clinton documentary, The Murder of Vince Foster, The Impeachment of a President. There's also a fascinating post that we have with then private citizen and billionaire developer Donald Trump just after 9/11, and he talks about that there had to be explosions. It's incredible. It's all there on Easton Spectator. Also, there's an incredible video of a man with Parkinson's disease who was asked if he wanted to try cannabis oil to see how the results. It's an incredible video. It lasts about 10 minutes, but it shows you from the time he takes the oil and puts it under his tongue, and then he relaxes, and he just becomes, he's like like healed. It's an incredible thing. It's like everything with cannabis oil. Did you realize that cannabis kills cancer cells? Cannabis was stolen from us back in the early 20s here in Canada, same as hemp. It's a pathetic story, but you know, the bottom line, it's all about the money, honey. It's all about pharma. Pharma cannot patent these things, that's why. And they have, they're in cahoots with politicians who put the laws in place. We the people have very little to say about anything. What a perfect example is with the latest Bill M-103, where all the Liberals, all the NDP, they all voted, supported it. You know, I mean, this is like a loss of freedom of speech. This is just the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg. And it's not being paranoid. I'm a realist. I see what's going on. I see the corruption. I look at people like Justin Trudeau and now the Trudeau Foundation. And as it turns out, the Trudeau Foundation has recently given the Clinton Foundation about $600 million in contributions. And I go, what? The corrupt Clinton Foundation? What's going on here? Justin Trudeau and the Liberals they're not nationalists. They're not nationalists. They're globalists. Look at the money. What really jumped out at me is how much Canadian tax dollars have gone through Justin Trudeau's government to Haiti. It's like $1.4 billion. And I think, well, Haiti, that's where the Clintons and the corruption and the way they just stole the monies and funds from the people of Haiti. The people of Haiti hate the Clintons. You see, you don't see anything or hear anything about this on mainstream media. And it angers me. The time was ripe. The time was now. The time is now for me to provide these stories that nobody else, well, there are others that supply them because I'm basically an aggregator, okay? That's picking up stories that don't see the light of day on mainstream media, just blinding the masses again. No, it's time for all of us to wake up and smell the roses for what they really are. You know, we have to have an insight as to what's going on. That's what this is all about.
We'll have more with Michael Easton right after the break.
Gem International is a new diamond explorer in the richest diamond producing country in Africa, located next to the fourth largest producing diamond mine in the world. International Spotlight is on an 1109 carat diamond recently discovered in Africa by a fellow Canadian junior with a proven operator and finance team. Gem International trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol GI. Visit us at gemdiamondmining.com.
Keep informed. Receive our weekly recap of thought-provoking articles, podcasts, and radio delivered to your inbox for free. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage, HowStreet.com. Welcome back. We're speaking with Michael Easton. Michael, are you going to ask your viewers, your listeners, your readers to suggest ideas for stories, things for you to go after?
Oh, for sure. And in fact, I wanted to reflect back, and it was not, I wasn't trying to ignore the fact that the stories that I've talked about, I realize, and that you, the Goddard Report, have covered many. And you know that I've certainly, carried your stories, a lot of them, especially on smart meters, And that's where I'd like to go too. So yeah, no, we have a lot in common, Jim, and there's great respect from me to you and Tom and the crew, and no, I think we're on the same page in many ways.
Well, also, when they talk about media spin, there are now more public relations people than journalists. Last August, I put a request into Mayor Robertson's office in Vancouver to talk about the deterioration of Granville Street in downtown Vancouver. That was last August. Every week, they have had an excuse about why His Worship cannot talk to me.
Really?
That's since last August. He's got 30 people to defer. Well, they talk about the 3 Ds of government public relations. The 3 Ds are defer, deny, deflect. And I'm sure he's got a t-shirt that says that. Meanwhile, the mayor of Burnaby has half a person in his PR department. He picks up his own phone, his BlackBerry, and he talks to you directly, and I can call him anytime. The last time I talked to him, he was on holiday in Ireland, but he just said, Jim, look, there's no sense going through spin. I don't want to have to wonder what my PR staff is saying about what we're doing. I know what we're doing and why we're doing it, and I have no problem explaining it. So there you have 2 very diverse ways of handling public relations and reporters.
I think you're blackballed from Vancouver City Council.
Defer, deny, deflect.
Well, it's reality. The thing is, I often laughed. You remember when the Sun News Network was running, and I really enjoyed it. It balanced things off. I know there was a lot of criticism from people, but I'll never forget they were chasing. It was a chase. They were chasing Justin Trudeau, and he was running. And it was. Did you ever see that video?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it was really funny, and I don't know where this story's going. Help.
Well, but I just know that politicians have their favorite reporters, their pets. Harper was the best example of that. He'd only allow 5 questions to be asked at a press conference if he ever held one. Yeah. And, of course, local reporters were frozen out unless it was the ethnic media, which had been fed questions by his staff to ask. I went in once into a photo op during the Olympics. All I was armed with was with a camera, and I was kicked out on the premise that I just might ask a question. Yeah. And so, there's great paranoia out there. They only want their message spun their way. And, I guess it's a badge of honor. Hi, I've been kicked out for not asking questions.
Well, this reminds me of an article carried on CTV today. There was a fella, Josh Sargerson, I think his name is, Sigurdsson, WAM. It's called World Alternative Meeting, and he called Justin Trudeau scumbags. That was today, and I saw the clip. And Josh just so happens to be on my Facebook, and he's done some excellent work, by the way. The clip from CTV just showed them leading him out. They didn't show what questions he had to. Again, it's edited. It's like, why don't you tell the whole story? We don't get the whole story.
Well, I've noticed also Vancouver CTV is very bad for not telling you where. They'll say violent home invasion caught on home security video. They never said on the story where the hell that happened. Yeah. And if I hadn't noticed that there was a peach on a license plate, I know it's Georgia because their symbol's a peach. If I hadn't noticed that because I'm observant, I would have no idea where that happened. You would think it was a local story. Yeah. So when people say stories are perverted and twisted, at News 1130, I was forced to take certain angles on a story. I wasn't allowed to to develop my own independent line of questioning like an inquisitive journalist would.
Is that right?
Yes. So already, they're putting a spin on it. Harvey Oberfeld.
Okay. How long ago was this, Jim?
Well, I was let go after the Olympics because they decided they didn't need senior reporters anymore.
Okay.
That was after 15 years.
Okay, but when did they start directing you as far as the commentary?
After George Gordon was the news director. That's when they started telling us what kind of angle you had to take on a story.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So really restricted.
Well, yes.
Okay. The reason why I ask you this is because when I was living in Edmonton, before I left there, I had I went to see my doctor and to get a prescription filled, and I asked her. I thought, why not? I said, has there been any significant increase in upper respiratory problems or allergies in the last couple of years? And she said to me, sky high. And I thought, okay, this is my next question. Has it got anything to do with the spraying in the sky? And she said, bingo. And I thought, why don't we hear about this on the media? Or why doesn't the government tell us this? And she replied, because they don't want to create mass chaos.
I found out in the late 70s in Winnipeg, the CIA was spraying over the city what they called mild kind of cold to see how biological warfare would spread in an urban area. They said, it would just give you a mild cold, and their people were trying to find out who caught it. Well, I caught it, but it turned out into something that mimicked a very bad case of the Hong Kong flu, but it wasn't Hong Kong flu. And it was only through Freedom of Information, something like 25 years later, that they admitted they were using Winnipeg as an open-air test site for biological warfare. So would I think that they're using chemtrails to do the same thing again all over the place? They did it in Winnipeg. Why not everywhere?
I remember reading about the story in Winnipeg. I think it was the early 50s that they first experimented on. Why Winnipeg? What did Winnipeg do to deserve this?
Well, they say about Winnipeg. You know what they say about Winnipeg? 9 months of winter, 3 months of poor skating.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I guess it's because it's a city that really hasn't changed in size and population all that much over the years. It's like the way they use Moose Jaw as a test market for several things. When I lived there are always new products being rolled out all the time. We were the guinea pigs. So I guess Winnipeg gets to be the big guinea pig.
Well, one thing, that whole thing saddens me, and this thing with we're really, my prayer is that people will wake up generally as far as what's up and coming in the next federal election in particular, that we have to vote Mr. Trudeau out. Personally, I think the only way federally that could be done by a conservative, and I would certainly support somebody like Maxime Bernier, who is a libertarian. Okay, again, believing in the best government is the least government, which is something I've always supported. So that's my feelings there. As far as the provincial election here, it's almost you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's not. I'm not a provincial liberal. I'm certainly not a NDP. Personally, I think that as far as the Liberals are concerned, all they have to do is show commercials about how Rachel Notley has screwed Alberta, and she has, okay, It's pathetic, absolutely pathetic. This carbon tax is an absolute lie. You can see where the liars are all in bed together. There's her, there's Trudeau, and there's Wynne in Ontario. That kind of thinking is really destructive to Canada.
Michael, before we go, there was one issue we talked about off air that's pretty interesting. The boss of Bombardier, what's going on with him?
Well, he just, what a joke this is. He just received a $3 million raise, all while cutting jobs and asking for government handouts, which Justin Trudeau is gladly giving him. Where's the hypocrisy? We have people in each and every city right across this country lining up at food banks. Look at the disasters the Liberals and the NDP treated the people in Fort McMurray. The way the Liberals are still treating people in northern Alberta as far as EI is concerned and the benefits. I mean, it's like, screw you people. They're not nationalists. These people are globalists. There's no such thing, really, when you look at it, there's no such thing as liberal and conservative. What it is now is globalists versus nationalists.
Michael, thank you so much for chatting with us. And again, tell people about the Easton Spectator and how they can get it.
Easton Spectator, thank you very much, Jim. It's been great talking with you. Easton Spectator, EastonSpectator.com. Please take a few moments and visit the site, and all your comments are more than welcome.
My guest has been Michael Easton. I'm Jim Goddard. You've been listening to the Goddard Report. Join us again as soon as you can.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of Howe Street Media Incorporated.